Dumelang. Today I didn't know that I was going to have strength to come and talk to you because the last 2-3 videos were gut-wrenching. After filming yesterday, I was so broken, I just couldn't hold myself together. I didn't realize that the wounds are still so raw. But I'll tell you what was different. This time, I had an impenetrable wall of warm, loving hearts from my fellow South Africans. You held me together. You incubated all my pain. You supported me. I felt so loved. The messages of encouragement, the support, the love, the hugs I received. Thank you so much. I don't think any language can express how loved and warm my heart feels. Yabo. I really need a little indulgence from you. Uti, I just get a day off today and not talk about the fraud. Because when I go through these stories, I'm not reading them anyway. I need to literally get into that space and relive them. It's very, very traumatic. So today I don't really want to talk about fraud, but I just want to tell you about 2 developments that happened. So it will be a brief video. If it cuts, then I'll do a second video. But today I'm going to day off. So this morning I got a phone call from an American number. This gentleman is a director of one of the biggest law firms in the world. He's been seeing my story. The same way Africa, Europe, everybody has been sending messages of support. This gentleman says to me, you have a blank check and you have the best legal minds in the world to capacitate you to take Standard Bank on whatever route you want to take. What they did is so wrong on so many levels. And he says, we are disgusted that your country has done nothing about it. Not only the fraud, there's so many offenses involved in this case, just the little that I have told the world. There is so much that is incorrect. He says, go for it. So in our conversations, he also asked me if I suffered any personal damages. And I say, even if I use my toes and fingers, I won't finish counting the damages that I incurred because of Standard Bank. But forget about me for a minute. I want to talk about the damages that South Africans have lost because of this exact fraud from Standard Bank. I'm sure I don't need to scratch very far to remind you. Do you remember, I think 2018, if I'm not lying, do you remember the Ekurhuleni University that was going to open? Do you remember that? Do you know that I spent 20 years of my wisest time preparing the curriculum, preparing what needs to be fed to our children? You know, South Africa is one of the few countries where a university just take courses from 1904 and they just recruit children who come and get 54% and then they give them a degree. When that child finishes, she's got nowhere to go. She's unemployable. That's why we have so many unemployed graduates. So what I did instead, and really it's not my wisdom, it's things I copied in 82 countries. What are the best practices? I looked at every town, at every, what do you call it in South Africa? Like Gauteng and at those things. Cantons. I don't remember what we call it here. Provinces. I put together, what does Gauteng do? What does Ekurhuleni do? So I started with Ekurhuleni. There's an airport that is not serviced. It's a logistical town. There were so many unemployed children. I brought 27 professors from all over the world. I had 4 from Harvard. I had professors from all over the world. We conducted the research. What does the economy need to function effectively? So you can't do it as a blanket. South Africa is too varied to just put one blanket over it. You need to customize things bit by bit. So we started with Ekurhuleni, and we were doing an aerotropolis there because of the airport, because of the logistics, and because of the businesses that are concentrated there. I'll tell you the program. I'll do a separate video and tell you the program that I put together. Then I raised funding because what was going to happen, there was going to be a state university, and then there was going to be a private university. If you ask Councillor Mzwandile Masina, he was the mayor at the time. I went to present my strategy to him. He approved it. He was very happy. In fact, he announced it in his State of the Town address. The university was then announced in President Ramaphosa's first State of the Nation address. Do you know why we don't have a university in Ekurhuleni until today? When all the work, I've got reams and reams of files. I paid 11.9 million rands of my money to do the feasibility study. This study had made sure that every youth in Ekurhuleni will have a job. Because at my university, you don't study for 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, you've got a university with no experience and no job. No. From the day you get registered, you are employed. You work 3 days, you go to class for 3 days. So by the time you graduate in 4 years, you've got a 4-year degree and you have 4 years work experience. You've never borrowed anybody's money. You've been earning from the first day. It was such a beautiful project. My contract for the money I had raised was very strict. I couldn't get involved in any of the South African corruption, irrespective whether my side or their side is wrong. I was not allowed to be in any court case. And with my integrity, I had to report this case. I lost the funding. That's why until today, we don't have a university at Ekurhuleni. Go and ask Councillor Masina. I was ready. My documents are still ready. My feasibility study is still ready. I lost that money because of the Standard Bank fraud. Today, our children are still unemployed, are still not qualified, are still not educated. The program was so comprehensive and holistic. We taught children skills that we as Black people were deprived of. It was a beautiful program. We lost it because of Standard Bank. So we discussed it today, and I thought that's what I'd rather discuss with you today. I don't want to talk about fraud. Tomorrow I'll come back and record part 14 for you. So I think we need a teaching moment here. I'm not Standard Bank. I tell the truth. I don't buy influencers to go and fight my battles on Twitter. I'll just tell you the truth. Yesterday, I got an invitation from somebody with maybe even deeper pockets than Standard Bank. And they offered me everything I need to fight Standard Bank. I didn't tell you my answer because it was unnecessary, but today I'm going to tell you. The first thing I told the gentleman is that he will not come from America to incite violence in my country. If he wanted goodness for me, he would have arranged a mediation process, not incite violence in my country. We don't do that. There's a Bible verse in Romans 12, verse 17 to 18. It says, return evil for no evil. Ungabuyiseli okubi ngokubi. Ithi dedela ulaka. Ithi, by all means be peaceable with all men. Mina, I will never sue you. But if you give me problems, I will defend myself. So here's the thing. The guy with an offer with a blank check, I told him very politely that maybe Trump needs that check more than me. I don't work at that level. Even my practice is non-adversarial. I don't go to court. By the time you go to court, you know, people have got this mistaken notion that if you go to court, one person is going to win and one person is going to lose. By virtue of going to court, you have lost. I'm not doing that. Another point I want to raise here is who is the loser in this entire process? It's not Standard Bank. It's not me. It's your children. Mina, my child is an admitted, practicing advocate of the High Court. To relax, she flies aeroplanes. She's not disadvantaged by Standard Bank. I think I've demonstrated to you that I can stand my ground. I don't need a blank check. Standard Bank did their worst. But you know what? I'm still standing with my integrity and dignity intact. You think Standard Bank has disadvantaged me? Mina ngidlizamba ngilaphondo. Elphekwe uChef. The people who are disadvantaged here is black South African children. Standard Bank has violated the constitutional right of access to education of every black child in South Africa by depriving them of a groundbreaking educational program scientifically designed to reverse the injury inflicted by apartheid and heal a black child's brain. Let that sink in. Standard Bank has violated the constitutional right of access to education for your child, not mine. So if you are going to sit back and think, I'm going to fight, God says, be peaceable with all men. Verse 19 of that Romans 12 says, if you're trying to make peace and the other party refuses, because revenge is for God. You leave them in God's hands. So here's my request to you, South Africans. Mina, I've come to you because it's your children who are disadvantaged. Now we're going to use our data. Should we decide to go in person, we'll wear our stilettos so that we are not intimidating. We go to Standard Bank. We visit Mr. Sim Shabalala. Sithi, hey Baba, our children's educational program back on the table. That's what's going to happen. We don't have time to be playing ignorant, illiterate games of buying influencers to write negative things to try and dilute the truth. Mina, everything I say in Beggy Paper Pants. Those who are looking for a judgment from Standard Bank, I mean, go to school and learn to listen. Family, before posting part 16, please can we go to update 3, because I'd like to alert the country of a call I received today. So last night I received, well, during the day, just yesterday, I received a few mails and text messages from journalists. What infuriated me is their questions that already have a bias against me. So you get a question like, why do you lie against Standard Bank? And you want me to respond to that? So I say to him, okay. He says he'd like me to answer some questions. I say, okay, what questions would you like? He says, first of all, are you aware that there's a coordinated effort to discredit you online? I say, sir, there's not one human being who can discredit me because I've got nothing to hide. So they can go to town and do their worst. I don't care. Yesterday, I allowed a very young man who was genuinely concerned and begged me to respond to the things he sent me. I told him I don't play in the gutter, but just for yesterday, I'll visit the gutter, just for him. But just that once, I'll never do it again. I don't want to hear any of these stories. I don't read junk. I'm not a dustbin. So I explained this to him. Then he says, okay, did you see Standard Bank's response? I say, no. Did they send it to me? He says, no, they actually plugged it on social media. I said, I've never done social media in my life. I just came to South Africa now to speak to you, but I'm not a social media person at all. I don't have those things. Besides, I don't need to see Standard Bank's response. I know Standard Bank's response off by heart. I can close my eyes and recite their template. They just pull a template and they change the names and put this detail so that it looks like it's you. It's all the same. And I don't only know this from me, but I know it from all the people I serve, that they rob, defraud, and scam of their hard-earned money. Oh, we've done all of this investigation and we didn't find any wrongdoing. Deny, deny, deny. We didn't take your mother's pension. We didn't touch your account. You are paying these people. It's not us. We didn't see any wrongdoing. I know that letter off by heart. I don't need to see it. If Standard Bank wants to respond to me, call me to a public platform with Standard Bank. And then let them bring their documents, I'll bring mine. I challenge Standard Bank to meet me in a public platform with our documents. Everything I have said, every word, every letter I have uttered since I came to you humbly, I have a paper to prove it. Let me prove Standard Bank wrong on a public platform. I challenge them. I told you before I came to you, I went back to Standard Bank. I invited them. You know what they did? They threatened me with the biggest law firm in South Africa and Africa. They threatened me. Now I challenge them. Let's call regulators. Let's call law enforcement. Let's call everybody. If anything I have said since I came to you is wrong or a lie, I will take myself to prison. I challenge them. Let them come. Let them bring their documents. I'll bring mine. Interestingly, today I received an email from the law library. The lady says, we are inundated with requests. People want to see these papers. We go to court. The court doesn't have papers. How convenient. The court doesn't have these papers? How convenient. Where did they go? Call me to a public platform. I've been robbed 4 times of my documents, but I have every piece of paper. Call me to a public platform with Standard Bank. I will prove it to you. Call regulators to come and see. I will prove it to you. So I told him not to worry about it. He then said he'd like to ask some questions. Can he call me? I said, no, it's late. I want to sleep. So is it okay if you call me tomorrow? So he said, okay. I never take telephone calls. But if we have an appointment that you call me, then I take the call. So today I received a call. And I thought it's him. I didn't even recognize the voice because yesterday we were talking by text. So the call says, Professor Anela, good morning. I say, yes, good morning. He says, did you see Standard Bank's response? I say, no, I did not. He says, are you posting another video? I say, yes. He says, no, there'll be no more videos. I says, who? He says, I say so. So I say, sir, today I'm going to post videos, tomorrow and the following day and every day after that. He says, if you post any video today, it will be your last video. So I said, okay. You see, I don't need to beg South Africans to believe me. You have a choice. You can either believe everything I told you, or you can ask Standard Bank to meet me in a public platform so that I can show them the truth, or you can decide not to believe me. Whilst black people are still not free in South Africa, we have few freedoms. One of them is you can believe whatever you want. You see, I don't even relate to belief because belief is just a stepsister of the truth. I didn't come to you for belief. I came to you to open your eyes so you can realize what is happening. Realize, not believe. Look, open your eyes and look. I came to you to give you courage to stand up and talk against the Goliaths that are abusing you. You see, justice is a very finicky concept, especially for poor black people. Justice delayed is justice delayed is justice denied. We say that in law. But in Gauteng, in South Africa, you have to wait 5 years for a trial date, unless you have lots of money and you can do agents and things. You still have to justify your agency. But for you to get a trial date, 2031 is the first date available, which means for 5 years you'll be waiting for justice, not having it. 2, you don't have resources to do that. So I came to you to give you courage that whilst we are waiting for justice, we can expose the Goliaths. The David and Goliath documentary is not for me. It's for every South African who has been abused to tell their story whilst we are waiting for justice. Expose the Goliaths. It's a sanitizer to expose the abuse we go through quietly. But because charity begins at home, I started with my personal experience. People say it's a story. This is not a story. It's my personal experience. And when I finish this one, I'm going to the Gore case that everyone is posting. Oh, there's a Gore case. I'll tell you all about it. In the meantime, I'd like us to encourage Standard Bank to meet with me in a public platform, and we both bring our papers to prove to South Africa what exactly is happening in this case. It has attracted a lot of attention and interest. Let's cut it. Let's prove publicly who's telling the truth. They're denying. I'm saying one thing, they're saying the other. Let's prove with our documents. Sanbonani. This is just a short video to let you know that I'm well. I'm just getting a lot of inquiries zabantu aba worried if I'm okay. In truth, I am very restless. I've learned over the years that whenever I challenge Standard Bank, these threats come up. The problem is they're always actualized, so I take them very seriously. So for that reason, I didn't sleep well last night. I was very restless. You don't know where the sniper will come from. But I survived the night. I'm here. After greeting you this morning, I'm going to go back and sleep. I also want to extend gratitude to all the people who have offered me their security companies to protect me. I'm very grateful. For me, I use a different security company. It's called God. Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. Trust in Jehovah with all your heart and do not lean upon your own understanding. Themba kuJehova inhliziyo yakho yonke. Unganciki kokwakho ukuqonda. Uzakuqondisa zonke indlela zakho. He has never failed me until namhlanje. So I will still subscribe to that security company. Because once you remove your trust from that security company and rely on men, you can never enlist it again. So I will stay with it. Regarding death, amanzi amancane. Mina, I'm God's favorite. I reside in God's armpit. So when the devil wants to take me, he must first find God and negotiate for my life. If God feels that my life is worthy to be sacrificed for truth, God will release me. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 to 5. There's a time for everything. There's a time to be born and a time to die. Kwabakithi uMshumayeli 3 verse 1 to 5. Kunesikhathi sayo yonke into inesikhathi sayo. Kunesikhathi sokuzalwa nesikhathi sokufa. The day isikhathi sami sokufa sifika, ngicela ningakhali. Ngizobe ngiwenzile umsebenzi wami. But I suspect God will keep me around for a little longer because I still have work to do here. Mina, before I educate a child, I heal the mind. So I don't think God will let me go yet. Nasingawari kakhulu. What makes me happy though, ukuthi even if God would decide ukuthi isikhathi sami sokuhamba, I will live with integrity for telling the truth. The entire country will know who killed me and why. Then I move to those who are working overtime to discredit me. Do your worst. Yabona mina, ngivele ezandleni zika Paul O'Sullivan no Trent nesquad sabo. Shredded me to small pieces. Angishuka. Working overtime to protect a white rapist. A story I'll bring to you. Let's focus on Standard Bank. I will bring you that Paul O'Sullivan story with receipts. I have raw footage to prove. Angikhulumi ngomlomo mina. Everything I say, ngibeka iphepha phansi. In this case, it will be raw footage. I'm getting emails of white supremacists insulting me to say, who do I think I am? I won't even mention the names I'm called. They say, I am casting aspersions against Standard Bank. I didn't know the dictionary has changed the meaning of truth to aspersions. I mean, I only told the truth. If the meaning of truth is now aspersions, please offer me a copy of that dictionary. Which in a way moves me forward. Ukuthi nginicele nonke, it's not only white supremacists, bathi kunomfana ongithukayo kwi-breakfast TT uyangithuka. Don't distract me. Let me finish with Standard Bank. Mangiqeda ningangigeki mina, ningiqonde ngqo. I'll be here. Okwamanje, I'd like to renew my offer to Standard Bank. Please, can Mr. Sim Shabalala bring the head of vehicle finance, the head of risk, forensics, legal, fraud, all the relevant regulators, the banking ombud, law enforcement, forensic experts. I will present myself to be tested. Then I will prove to the country in front of Standard Bank. I don't even mind if we do it at Standard Bank offices, but I think we have to do this publicly so that we stop sending each other SMSs by WhatsApp. Let's do it publicly. I will prove that Standard Bank has committed fraud against me. And then Standard Bank has to give up the fraudster. Then Standard Bank has to legally account why they intentionally and knowingly enforced a fraudulent contract. I go back to worry. That is the most useless emotion. You worry with your brain, which means you're thinking. And whatever you think, you become. So if you're going to put negative, scary things in your mind, they will manifest into reality. Don't ever worry. Don't worry about yourselves, but especially about me, because that sends negative energy towards me. Do not worry. Amahubo 46 verse 10. Dipisaleme 46 verse 10. Does it say worry? No. It says be still and know that I'm God. Psalms 46 verse 10. Do not worry. Be still. Allow me to go and sleep. I am very tired. I'll come back and do the video for you.